Welcome, good afternoon, good little bit after the morning, good pre-nighttime. This is Let's Make a List on KPCA LP, Petaluma, California, 103.3 FM and online at kpca.fm. My name is Phil. This is Let's Make a List where we talk about pop culture stuff like movies, books, video games, CDs, records, compost, Domino's, Pizza Hut, Straw Hat, Mary's Pizza Shack, and we make a list and talk about our choices. I think that was right. I'm trying to get the intro just perfect, and I think I'm getting pretty close. I am your host, Phil. Today we have a guest that I know it better than anyone else does, but you guys know her pretty well. Her name's Ariel. Hey, Ariel.
Hey, Phil. That was a pretty good humble brag.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is a guest that I know better than everybody else knows.
It's cool to be able to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I only know a couple things better than anyone else, myself and you. So today, this is a show. How you doing?
Today, this is a show. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a little bit too warm out. We're supposed to be past this. I know it's still summertime, but come on, guys. Let's fix it a little bit. I'm not a big. I don't like to complain about things that we don't have control over, but
I do.
This is going too far. We
Like
actually
the
do have some
weather.
control. Yeah.
I naturally have a reaction every year. Somebody should do something about this.
Yeah.
As if I could just call an 800 number and be like, could you turn the temperature down just a few degrees?
Well, it's actually not that far off from it's actually going on. People are calling and emailing their representatives going, hey, can you please make it so we don't all
Explode into dust
burn.
and pumpkin spice?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
please. And you know what their response is? Of
Meh.
course. Thanks for asking. We didn't know.
We did.
We're busy. We have air conditioning in DC.
Mm-hmm.
All politicians have air conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if, because I remember every once in a while, a politician they'll be like Bernie Sanders, good example of when he started to get popular and people were taking pictures of him taking the subway or the bus to work and him walking and stuff. Do you think? I like to imagine he doesn't even use air conditioning. I bet he got a used one of those window units. They got at the dump they were going to throw out, and he's like, I could use that.
I prefer to imagine that he stays limber by riding a bicycle that powers the air
Yeah. Oh,
conditioning in
yeah.
the house, so that
Ed Begley Jr.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he just powers up a generator for a while that goes, and then he just lets it go.
Yeah.
During summer.
That is something that it's like solar panels where I go, oh, that's something I want to do, and then you see how expensive it is, and you go, that's something I wish I could do, install solar panels.
Mm-hmm.
But having a little battery, and even if we just use it to power the microwave or something like that.
I'm pretty sure that you could
Get a bike.
easily figure out a way to hook that up.
Yeah.
Because we both have road bikes, and I feel like you could figure out a way to hook up a stand that we could put in the house or even keep in the garage and just hook that up
Yeah.
to something. I feel like you, of all people who love to do research,
I
could
don't
figure
under-
out a way.
I could
And
research
you're
it.
related to people
Yes.
who actually play around with mechanical things.
Yeah. I don't
That's a good way
understand
to say it.
electronics very well.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in school we did the thing where I'm assuming everyone did it because everyone had the exact same upbringing I did, where we had a board and it was you had to match two things. Okay, so it'd be maybe the state and then the state capitals on the right, and what it was is each one had a pin or something, like a metal pin, and then on the back they were wired to each other, and then when you connected them on the front, it made a little light go on. Did you ever do something like that? So it's
Not
kind
that
of
I
showing
remember.
how you get it right, and then that you make an electrical current, I guess.
I don't
connection.
remember that happening. Yeah.
Okay, well, we did that, and it was pretty cool. I was gonna say that's as far as my knowledge of electronics and electricity goes, but I'm I don't even remember exactly how we did that. As I was talking about it, I was like, well, how did the light work? I guess each one had a little light, and then you had to do that to connect it. But then it was kind of I don't get it.
I feel like if you had it in front of you, you'd be able to decipher it. But just relying on your memory
Yeah.
as a child, I don't think that you're going to find an answer.
Well, speaking of a memory of childhood, that's kind of goes into what we're talking about today. We're going to be talking about shows, movies, books, things like that that we experienced as a child and we have fond memories of, but we're kind of hesitant or scared to go back to them because they might not hold up and we don't want to ruin that memory, which I think is very common.
Yeah, totally.
And I've gotten better at, there are a number of things where I've gone back and I go, oh, this is not what I remember. This is not good at all. But I'm pretty good now. I think it's separating it from go like, well, it was great then, so I still have this fondness for it because at the time I loved it and it was good at that time. There are some things where you watch it now and there are, like, an example is Can't Hardly Wait, movie I watched in high school that I loved. And then I've watched it a few years ago and you go, oh yeah, they use the F word, the derogatory, horrible F word as a joke. Like, people get made fun of and then everyone laughs. That's the joke. And then, there's a lot of homophobic stuff and sexist stuff, which I actually knew about that. I remember my mom told me when I was younger she didn't want me to see it because she saw in the trailer there was some sexist stuff. And then I saw it anyway. And she got a little upset with me. And it didn't make me go like, it's cool to be sexist. But looking back on it even more, you're like, yeah, not cool. Movie has some fun parts though. Yeah, but so that's part of it. So sometimes that happens where you look back at something and then it actually does kind of change my opinion of it, even though because there are certain things I don't like now that I liked back then, but I still think fondly and highly of it. But then there are other things when I look back and I go, oh no, these were actually mean-spirited or something like that. Then it changes my opinion of it.
That's part of growth.
I don't know.
Just an idea.
Yeah, no, it's true. It is. But before we jump way into that, I wanted just to let you guys know what's going on in Petaluma today. There's, I think the shadows are a little bit different than last time I looked. They're not bad. Like, the house across the street has a good amount of shadows. Like, upstairs on one side of the building, it's probably a little bit cool, nice, even though the heat rises. They've got shade, and it's probably they looks like, I don't want to give away too much information. It's
even
personal.
Though heat rises, it looks like they have shade. Phil Lehman Brown.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it's not bad out today. There's not enough breeze. It's too warm. I started the show by complaining about how bad it is outside.
It's not that bad, but I'm going to continue to tell you how bad it is.
Yeah. Well, what else is going on? There is Art in the Park coming up this weekend. I think it is.
Exciting.
Yeah, at Walnut Park, I believe it is. It's so hard for me not to say Walnut Creek Park every time. But it is, tomorrow and Sunday, Walnut Park, which is D Street in Petaluma. Everybody knows what that is. Yeah, Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. I think that's going to be pretty cool. There's music too, guys. This is that.
Was I supposed to fill that gap?
No, that's why I kind of laughed, because I was like, I don't know why I stopped. I think I was waiting for myself to fill that gap. And pretty soon there's the honky tonk piano competition where I think people you go and you use what's the Petaluma?
Hey kids, Petaluma Pete here.
Okay, that was really bizarre. Not that bizarre, but that was kind of funny. I did not realize the video was going to play. I clicked on the thing about the honky tonk piano competition, and I was trying to think of the guy's name, and I was about to say that guy's name, and then he started talking, and I didn't realize the video was playing.
Pete.
Yeah,
that's I think the third time that's happened on this show.
Oh yeah,
not this specific show even, but in this radio station.
Yeah,
and every time you look like somebody just turned a hose on in your face, and it's really funny for me.
It's so surprising. I do not expect it at all.
It startled me.
Yeah,
somebody hacked the mics.
But yeah, they have. This is one of the things that's cool about Petaluma is they have stuff like this, Petaluma Pete Day and the honky tonk piano competition, where
communal pride and communal energy to do things for the community, with the community,
and
in the community,
for the community,
around the community.
And they have, because they have those pianos, a few of them around town. You can go up and just play. I remember one time we were hanging out with friends Kevin and Gina, and as we separated to go our separate ways, I just hear the theme from Halloween coming across the street, and Kevin's over there playing it. But yeah, they go, hey, we got these pianos. We got Petaluma Pete, who is a local celebrity, and they hold
local
competitions.
legend.
Yeah, and it's cool. Petaluma's got cool stuff every weekend. There's stuff going on, and even when there's like not much shade, they still brave through it and do it.
Brave through it and do it.
Brave through it and do it.
Petaluma, California.
That's the new Nike slogan, right? Kaepernick, brave through it and do it.
Rootin' tootin', doing.
Guys. So yeah, that's what's going on in Petaluma. There's a bunch of stuff. You can go online and find more.
Where?
I feel like the internet. Search Petaluma. I don't know like what things are. Like if there's an official
There is.
Petaluma page for events. There's like the Downtown Association. It's petalumadowntown.com has a bunch of information about annual festivals and events.
There's
And they
also
have a good
Sonoma
calendar.
County, like what's happening in Sonoma
Yes.
County.
And yes. And, like
Yes.
Visit Sonoma, maybe one too. But there are
And
lots.
yes.
So I
Petaluma does have its own though.
yes.
Yes.
It's pretty
Yes.
it's pretty great.
Yes.
And they got a Petaluma the best community radio, guys. And you guys can get involved, you know. It's not exclusive. It is inclusive. I want everyone to be involved. It's true. I'm going to speak for everyone at the station. We want you here. And if you want to call in during the show at all, if you have opinions about what we're talking about, or if you just want to congratulate us on using up your time.
Those are the only things that you can call in about.
Yeah. You can call 707-981-7577. Put it in your phone. Keep it in your phone. Remember it forever. 707-981-7577. That goes straight to us. I'll answer it, and you might not know what to say. You might just call in and be like, "Oh, I want to tell them that I can't think of what to say," and then that's fine. We've had telemarketers. We've had people call and then they hear what it is and they quickly hang up. You can be one of those people. Oh, I'm chatting. So I'm not going to do any Halloween sound effects today. So you ready to get to our listing?
Sure.
Cool. So yeah, we're talking about things from our childhood, entertainment related things that we are a little hesitant to revisit for whatever reason. My list is kind of a mess, but I have like different sections, and it's going to involve I have lists on the internet of different things that we're going to go through some to see if we remember them and see if what our opinions are and if we think they are still good or not.
Okay.
All right, and I got some other stuff. How big is your list?
It's very small.
All right.
It was hard to think of.
Yeah.
And you and I talked about it a little bit because you and I actually actively spend quite a bit of time revisiting things that we loved growing up. And for me, a lot of those are big things that people recognize. Star Wars. Like I love going back into that as an adult. It's actually a constant since it's a franchise that's still alive and well. And things like that are things that I first watched when I was like 7, and I love them. Did not love them when I was 7. I was so scared of Darth Vader. So scared of Darth Vader in the night. Enough that my mother was like, "Is something broken inside of you?"
Did you?
What?
Did you know who James Earl Jones was at that point?
No, I actually didn't. And I mean, I probably like found out not long after, but I didn't understand that James Earl Jones just did the voice and wasn't the guy in the suit. So, like, there were times when I would see his face and be like, "Oh, God, Darth Earl Jones."
I think I knew James Earl Jones was right around the same time that I watched Star Wars because I watched are they Jack Ryan movies, the Clear Present Danger Picture Games? Yeah, and he was in some of those, so I knew him from that. I probably knew him from something else
I
too.
knew his voice.
Oh, The Sandlot?
Long before I knew his name. But also my mom started me on Empire. She didn't start me with the first movie.
Oh, right.
So
start with the darkest one.
Yeah, so I saw
the whole series.
Darth Vader storming around and I was just like, nope, can't do it.
For me,
horrifying.
I thought of probably from The Sandlot, and there's got to be something else, but with James Earl Jones, where I just saw him as like a friendly guy, so it made Darth Vader much less scary for me. Things in Star Wars that scared me. Empire Strikes Back has I thought the scariest part in the whole series. Do you want to guess what scene was the scariest for me as a kid? No, not the end. No.
What?
when it's at the beginning where Luke is captured by the abominable snowman. What is it? What
The Unhoth.
yeah, what's that creature's name?
I don't remember.
I'm gonna say like yak, but that's not it. It's
Tauntaun. No, Tauntaun are the things that he's riding.
Yeah. But anyway,
it'll occur.
That because it had a few like kind of sudden startle scares and just this big angry monster, so that scared me.
No, it was just Darth Vader.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you grossed? I was very grossed out, and I'd look away when they'd cut open the tom.
I don't think that I had to look away, but it was gross.
Yeah.
And I feel like I imagined a way that it smelled on the inside.
Yeah.
And then I just that stuck with me. List?
Yes, sure.
Thanks
for keeping me on point. One thing that, here we go. Beavis and Butthead. We talked about this not too long ago. I enjoyed it when I was younger. When it was first on, I was a little kid. I didn't really get a lot of the humor, and they would show kind of weird music videos when they'd comment on them, and they kind of creep me out, like Rednecks, Cotton Eye Joe. And that's the one that sticks in my mind. But then I think my early teenage years, I really got into it, and I saw the movie when it came out and really liked it. And I think I still appreciate it, but it's one of those that I haven't gone back to watch because I'm thinking it might be kind of how even like some Mel Brooks movies where I go back now and I go, the humor was great when I was 12. And it's just, I want to still have it in my mind as being genius.
That's, yeah.
And I don't know if it will or not.
That actually segues into my list pretty well.
And Beavis and Butthead was, I don't know how unique. Well, I think it was pretty unique when it came out, and that kind of humor wasn't.
It was like a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah,
and I hated it.
Yeah,
I was not in the camp of enjoying it or wanting to ever.
Yeah, which is very understandable. Yep.
What you like is trash. What I like is great. You talked about Mel Brooks, like being worried that it's not going to be as great as what you remember. Robin Hood Men in Tights. That I loved that so much when I was a kid, and I watched it a lot, and I don't think I've seen it in my adulthood.
I'm trying to, because I've watched it not too long ago. That one, I think, what's the word? Not stands up or lives up to. It's what's the word when something ages well?
Stands the test of time.
I guess so. Yeah,
ages well.
I guess there's some other phrase I'm trying to think of, but I don't know what it is. But that I felt like was. Yeah, aged better than some of the other Mel Brooks movies, for me, definitely. But again, I think I watched it by myself, and when I watch it by myself, I think I'm kind of watching it through the eyes of me as like a 12-year-old watching it.
Connect to your memories of watching it and how it made you feel back then.
Yeah, and so like if I watched it with someone else, I think I would be a little bit like, I would constantly be going like, this person's going to think that I don't have a sense of humor because this isn't funny. Oh, I hope it gets better. Like, and I want to keep explaining it myself and excusing things. So yeah, like Spaceballs is the best example of one where we watch it, and you had never seen it a few years ago. Watch it with you, and as it was going, I was going like, this is just someone who's like in their late 20s who didn't really, this kind of humor isn't really their thing. It is not the best time to show them. For me, I still appreciate it. I still think there are some genuinely really funny parts, like Rick Moranis as Darth Helmet, Darth Helmet, and when he's playing with the dolls and he's reacting, I think that's really funny. And I think there are some definitely lots of good parts. And I'm still considered a great movie because when it came out and the age I was at, it was the funniest thing ever. But there's still a little bit of that now, and I think about it, I go, oh.
Yeah, I definitely was exposed to things that were my mother's sense of humor.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of, she was an Anglophile. So like anything British, that kind of dry sense of humor was hers. So anything that was like like the most slapsticky that she would enjoy was Monty Python. And like I enjoyed that, but I would also get kind of tired of the slapsticky parts.
Right.
But like I was watching like A Fish Called Wanda when I was 11, and kind of watching it as a serious movie, not really realizing quite how funny it is. but that kind of thing influenced how I view humor. So
Yep.
yeah, I wasn't really Mel Brooks. Robin Hood Men in Tights was pretty much like the Mel Brooks movie, and like the producers was a thing that my mom enjoyed. But yeah, I felt really bad when we watched Spaceballs because you were so excited to share it with me, and I felt like my face was carved out of stone. Like, oh, okay, okay.
I appreciate you watching with me, and you weren't sitting there just going, "This is bad. This is horrible." You were giving it a shot. Real quick, I got a text. It's Holds Up. That's what I was trying to think of. Movie Holds Up, and then Wampa.
Thank you.
What was I gonna say? Oh, I should have, because here's an example of blah, blah, blah. Okay, so when I got into Mel Brooks when I was like 5 or 6, and then I watched Spaceballs, and then Robin Hood Men in Tights came out probably soon after that, and and Dracula Dead and Loving It, which was fun. I saw that in theaters, and then people were saying, "Oh, you should go see Mel Brooks classic movies like Blazing Saddles and History of the World Part 1." I watched those, and that was when I was really into Mel Brooks, and I was like, not very funny. Like, those already dated then, so it totally makes sense why now that they would feel.
And that's the thing, is that I watched those. I did see History of the World Part 1 when it was on TV, and I watched a lot of stuff from the 60s. Like I've told you before, when I was little, I thought that all the things that were happening in the 60s were actually happening now. And I didn't really realize that they had really happened a long time ago. And so yeah, those were more my sense of like humor. I also thought that the Beatles were still in their 20s.
Yeah.
When I was in the 4th grade. And they were definitely not. John Lennon had been dead for a while, which was unfortunate. Misfortune. Yeah, humor is like a weird thing.
Yep.
And when you get sometimes it just does not age well.
Yep. But I think if I was in the right mood and I watched Spaceballs, and maybe watching it with like my brothers or something, I think I'd really enjoy it again.
If you had popcorn, you could put up your feet, be totally at peace, and not be worrying about showing it to somebody who's never experienced it before. I think that you just have a great time, which is awesome that our brains can revert to that. Yeah. That we can be flexible enough to, even though we have the bad experience of being like, oh, this isn't going over well with the person that I'm sitting with. Yeah. Go back and enjoy it.
We had the same thing with Airplane.
Yeah.
Showed you that. I was going like, well, when I saw it, it was really funny.
Yeah, Leslie Nielsen, my mom did not appreciate him. And so we did not watch, we watched things that my mom would buy. And it wasn't like, here, this is the only thing you can be shown. It's just like, she wanted to share certain things with me, like Empire. She wanted she wanted to show me the awesomeness of Star Wars, and it scared the pants off me. Yeah. And so yeah, I definitely, like, what was it, Hot Shots? That kind of humor. Yeah. Did not.
Loved it when I was younger. Yeah. Loved them. And we can, at the end, if we have time, today we can talk about movies or shows that we thought would not hold up, but they end up actually still being good. Ooh. Because I think of some of those too.
Cool. What's next on your list?
All right. Looney Tunes cartoons. I watched them a lot, and like Merry Melodies. Is that what it was too?
I think so,
something like that. There's no way for me to look it up. And so those I really enjoyed, and those were just on it
all the time.
Yeah, so I just had them on. It'd just be comforting, and Roadrunner and Coyote were great. And there's certain characters, Elmer Fudd.
Speedy Gonzalez was my favorite.
All right. Yep. And and there was just enjoyable. And then now the other day I was looking up examples of racist cartoons.
I think I named two of one of the characters.
And a lot of the things are old Looney Tunes things. Yep. Very racist or sexist or things like that. So I'm going, I wonder how much of it will be like that. So that's something where I'm like, I don't need to go back and watch it.
Yeah, no, it I think especially like the early ones do not age well. Right. Because they were definitely going towards like a target demographic. They were mocking a lot of things. And it's very cringeworthy.
Yeah. Yep. What else you got?
What else do you got? Let's see. When I was little, I was super into only one doll franchise, and it was the American Girl dolls.
Oh, yeah.
I hated every other kind of doll, but these dolls had backstories, so they didn't scare me to pieces.
Did stuffed animals scare you at all?
No. Not usually, but like dolls, because my mother loved Madame Alexander dolls. And those are dolls that have like the rocking thing where their eyes open and close. So depending on how they're sitting, their eyes are like a little bit open or a little bit closed.
Remember when we stayed at your relative's house?
My great grandfather's house.
Yeah.
So my great grandfather and his partner had this guest room, and we totally upset their like sense of propriety by staying in the same room because they were very old fashioned. They were in their late 70s when we went and visited.
I remembered who it was. I just said relative.
Yeah, but they had dolls because she was very into dolls. Like you sat on a couch and there were dolls on the back of the couch, so that like one fell and hit me in the head and almost gave me a concussion because it was porcelain. Yeah, and that thing was heavy. Talk about racist dolls. Yikes.
Oh yeah.
But they had like a Madame Alexander doll, and there's a specific name for this kind of display of the doll. It's very creepy, capital C. But it didn't have legs. Right. And so it had like a crocheted skirt that like spread open, and that's what they decided to put in the middle of the bed. So we opened the door and kind of squeaked out, "Oh, thank you so much. This looks so great." And the door closed, and I screamed silently into the void.
And it was one of those where it had the eyes, the eyelashes would go, and one of them was more than the other. Yeah. Would do it more. And so whenever you put something on the bed or sit on the bed, eyes open and close, and it would kind of go up and down, and it was just creepy. And
it was terrifying.
It was like it was waking up a little bit, but it wasn't totally there.
It was horrifying. And I've always felt that way about dolls, which really bummed my mom out because she loved dolls. But American Girl dolls, I was super into. Samantha, I still have her. She lives in my garage. And they came with book series. And then later they made movies. Actually, Big Little Lies, that actress, the young actress.
The mom?
Yeah, the young mom.
Shailene Woodley.
Shailene Woodley.
Yeah.
She actually was in an American Girl dolls movie.
Oh, okay.
That was like, I think the beginning of her career.
Okay.
But so I loved reading the books about a bunch of these American Girl dolls. And so going back, like they tackle slavery, they tackle emancipation, they tackle women's rights, they tackle all these different things, because these are about girls in the time in which they live. So like my doll, Samantha, was a Victorian doll. Then there was a doll from the American Revolution. There were dolls from different periods of history. And
Were they? Sorry, go ahead.
They were all white until probably like the late 2000s. I think that there are dolls of color, if you will, now. But I'm not entirely sure because once I hit, 16, I stopped paying attention. Maybe a little bit earlier than that. But like going back before they actually started to integrate people of color into their stories as something other than like a secondary byproduct of the main character's goal. I'm like a little bit scared to look back and see like what was I reading?
Right.
Because in my head, they were good things, but as an adult looking back, it's all about being a white savior. And so that alone is like, oh, that's a bummer. And then like going deeper in and looking at what the stories were actually like, they were meant to be positive, but they were also told from a very specific gaze and perspective. And so like, yeah. Cringeworthy.
Yeah, I didn't know that much. I didn't know that there was that much historical.
They have this huge world of stuff, and it was like perfect for a kid. And I love miniatures and all that stuff. So you could buy the doll, you could buy in period things for that doll, you could buy modern things for that doll, you could buy clothes for yourself that were the same clothes that the doll had. So I had a nightgown that she had, so it was a Victorian nightgown. Like you could do all that stuff and have books and have like all this other stuff. So it was like there were a lot of things you could buy.
Did you have the same kind of interest in Garbage Pail Kids?
Oh, heck no.
You
I
get
didn't
the
even
stickers?
hear about them until I was in my 20s.
Did they make anything besides they made the stickers? They made a movie.
Didn't they have cards?
I think, or the cards, the stickers, or maybe not.
Like
They're probably
baseball
trading cards. Yeah.
Like trading cards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember seeing them and be like, yeah, it's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That's a good answer. All right. I've got a few more individual ones, and then I have a few lists of shows that I want to go through together with you. But next is the old Ninja Turtle cartoons.
Oh,
I'm not worried about them being like offensive or anything like that. I'm just going
interesting
because that was such a big. I've seen little bits and like, oh, that's kind of fun, and then but it's one of those where the memory of it and the things associated with it, like playing games with my brothers and getting excited for the movies and getting the toys and all that, is such one of my favorite things to remember. So I like having that as I still love Ninja Turtles, and I'm okay with liking the memory of it, my experiences with it more than what it actually might be like now. It's a show made for kids, so I would understand, and I wouldn't be like, I'd understand if it would be kind of boring for me now, but it's still, I just don't really want that slight disappointment.
Right.
And I've seen the movies recently, and I still enjoy those.
Yeah, I still love those.
Yeah.
And
First two especially.
I was obsessed with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My grandmother thought I was a genius because I named my fish after them, and she was Italian, and she thought, oh, she knows the Italian artists that are a genius. Yeah. Oh, this baby girl is so smart. Nope, I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My mom let her think that I was smart for like 2 years. And I don't know if I actually really watched the cartoon very much. I probably was young enough to think that they were all like the same thing.
Right.
Just all of a sudden the turtles are flat.
Yeah. Do you think maybe you might have gone like rented a VHS at one point that had like 4 episodes on it or something?
Totally could have.
Maybe, yeah.
Somebody might have given me one for Christmas. But like I remember a thermos that was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I would bring that to school all the time.
I think I had Ninja Turtles lunchbox. At least one of us did in my family.
I understand that one.
Yeah.
Very much.
And one that I was hesitant to go back and watch any of it, but I ended up actually still enjoying it. Was the Real Ghostbusters cartoon. It's not quite as entertaining as it was then, obviously, but still it holds up, I think.
Nice.
I have my water is really cold if you want some of that. All right. What do you have next?
Next on my list is Sailor Moon.
Okay.
I was obsessed with Sailor Moon from like 5th grade to 8th grade. I have somewhere in my life a huge binder of my collection of stickers and trading cards. And I'm sure that I was a member of like fan clubs. My first website that I ever tried to start was a Angel Fire.
Oh yeah.
Thing, and I learned how to import images and do all that stuff. And this was like in 1996 or 97. It was somewhere around Titanic. So Titanic came out in 97. So it was like around there. Yeah. And it was the dumbest website, but I even had like, contact me if you want to talk about Sailor Moon, you know? And it was just basically a homepage. There was like nothing else. Right. But I was obsessed with those cartoons. I used to know all the words to the theme song. Like it was not cool how much I knew. And they had like a reboot recently where they re-released a bunch of stuff, and I think maybe even extended the show. And I tried to watch it, and I kind of had to like slowly bow out and just be like, maybe I'm not in the right mood to like see this again, because it wasn't clicking, and I also wasn't emotionally ready to like let go of that spot that it held in my heart.
Yep, I get that. Should I do that? My next? My next is a pair of movies, An American Tail and Fievel Goes West. Because I loved those. And I remember I got the VHS from a store not too long ago. I haven't watched it, but it was just the cover just made me so happy seeing it. I don't remember much about the movies. I just remember loving them. And so that's one I just haven't really read about I haven't read what it's about recently. I don't remember anything at all.
A little bit about the story of Fievel Goes West, because I don't remember the first movie very well.
Right. I don't.
But it was very typical of a lot of movies when we were growing up, where they were cartoony, they looked cute, but they were just full of sadness and heartbreak.
Yeah.
And like, kid, listen up. This is all the hard stuff you're going to learn in life, and you're going to learn it from a cartoon. And it's like, ugh, like The Brave Little Toaster.
Yep. Yeah, that's
Woof.
another one that haven't. It's on my list, but that's definitely one.
Yeah, I feel like seeing it grown up will be like, what was this psychedelic nonsense that we were watching when we were kids? Because this is bonanzas.
Yep.
Did you ever see Little Nemo, that cartoon?
I played the video game a lot.
I think that one would be one worth watching
the
as well.
One?
That's the Dream
Yeah,
World one.
I play the video game a lot. Yeah,
and it's like really, really weird. And I really want to know what a lot of these animators were thinking, because I knew that the Nemo came from a cartoon or a comic strip.
Okay.
And so like it had this like vast history behind it, but it was just like bananas. It's just bananas. Yeah. Fievel Goes West. We should watch those in our 30s.
Yeah,
Let's just embrace it.
What do you have more?
I do.
Nice.
I have 3 more.
Nice.
The Nancy Drew Mysteries.
Oh, the books?
The books. I was obsessed with them. I remember the way that the pages smelled in the books. And there were like a million of them. And I don't know how many I read, but I'm pretty sure it was almost all of them.
A million.
Yeah. Because I started reading really young.
Yeah.
Like kindergarten, I was reading picture books that had words. And then by first grade, I was reading chapter books. And I was just like all about Nancy Drew. I wanted to figure out all those mysteries, and that still happens to be true today. When we watch any kind of movie that has a mystery, I go, Nancy Drew over here has figured it out. I know how this is going to end. I don't tell you, but I know. And, they were so good as a kid, but I feel like I tried to read one in high school and did not make it past like the second sentence. It was like as far as I got when I tried to read a Dan Brown book. It just did not go anywhere.
Because I used to, for me, Goosebumps were the books I read a lot when I was younger.
Those were fun.
Yeah. And I read one, I think, maybe around the age of like 20, 25. And it obviously it wasn't scary at all, but it was kind of nice because it was so easy to read, and I read all in one sitting, and that felt kind of good.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Why do you think I read a lot of the things that I read?
I also had big font, which was nice.
Yeah, because you're getting old.
Yeah. Well, it was like with small fonted books, even if it was not many pages, it was so tough for me to read. I think the flipping the pages was a way to keep me focused on it. You just constantly have to be actually physically doing something. Oh, I got a text. Oh, someone's writing a Nancy Drew comic. Kelly Thompson is writing a Nancy Drew comic right now.
Nice.
And the sender of that text says that they haven't read it, but that she's a pretty great writer.
Awesome.
Yeah. I will say something now. All right, so I've got my here's one thing. A lot of the old classic Disney animated cartoons, which I have very fond memories of, and I see little bits of them a lot because we go to Disneyland every once in a while, and we went to the Disney Museum the other day, and those images and those characters pop up a lot and things. So I feel like I'm still familiar enough that I don't need to rewatch them, but there is a part of me that goes like, I'm just gonna keep those in my memory the way they are.
I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah, I agree. What about you? You got 2 more? All right.
So speaking of Disney, there was a 90s live action Disney movie called Shipwrecked that was about a Norwegian kid. I can't tell if it was like meant to be a Norwegian movie because there were a lot of Norwegian actors in it.
I don't think I know this
But
movie.
Gabriel Byrne was one of the actors, and he is not Norwegian. And it's about a boy who has to keep his family, like he has to earn money for his family, and so he becomes like a ship's boy. And so this is in the time of masted ships, and all of a sudden, like the captain disappears, and there's a new captain with a new group of people who are claiming to be sailors, and then everything kind of goes south, and he makes friends with eyebrow waggle. He makes friends with a stowaway young lady who's disguised as a boy. And then the ship crashes, and there's like treasure and pirates and all this stuff. Ooh. And I loved this movie. And
live action or animated?
Live action. And I truly, truly feel like it will be terrible when I go back and watch it. Because there are so many like kids movies where the kids can't act very well, or like the adults overact to compensate for the kids, or like to make it super campy. But I really enjoyed it, and I would watch it a lot when I was a kid.
What was the movie that we watched? I think you watched as a kid, then we watched it a few years ago. I'm probably getting things wrong. I think it takes place in Ireland. And
The Secret of Ronin-ish.
Yes. Good job.
That movie will never lose its appeal for me. It's like a perfect movie.
Nice.
I love it.
Nice.
I will not accept that on this list.
Good. All right. Do you want to go? Because I have a couple list of things to go down where I want to go through TGIF shows. Ooh. Some of those I remember, and Nickelodeon shows.
Sure. I had one more thing on my list.
Yes, that's what I wanted. You should do that.
I'll just throw that away, and then I'm really excited to go through your list. Thank you.
Enjoy it.
Throw it in the trash. I was obsessed with King Arthur when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
I was obsessed. Obsessed is a word that has come up a lot. But King Arthur was one of my big ones. I read a lot of huge books about King Arthur. Also watched the musical from the 60s, Camelot, with Richard Harris, and I believe it was Vanessa Redgrave. And I loved that movie.
I think it's one that my mom liked.
Yeah, and I have not seen that since I was probably like in my early teens.
I think my parents own it.
And I like loved it, but now I'm a little bit worried that with distance and time, I'll see it as like super campy, like seeing the style of it from back then as being seeing it differently.
Yeah.
And I'm like truly worried about that because like there are parts of it that I thought were stupid and like funny anyway, because the acting was so over the top from one of the actors, the guy who plays Lancelot. Oof, that was crazy. But it was really cool. So anyways, that's my list.
Nice.
What do you got? TGIF.
Did you see Kid in King Arthur's Court?
Oh, you bet. If it had King
Arthur
in it.
That.
Okay. Robin Hood, King Arthur, if it's a Western or if it's in space. If there's magic. But the other ones, I will see it. Like those are my 5.
Nice.
Must-sees.
So TGIF was ABC's Friday shows. Thank God it's Friday. Shows. I think it was usually 2 hours. I don't know if 2 to maybe it looks like, according to Wikipedia, 3 hours, but they're saying 2020 was part of TGIF. I don't know about that at 10 o'clock. I don't think so. But these were must-watch shows, I think, growing up for my family. I want to see if there are any. It started in 85 with Webster. TGIF. Did you ever watch Webster? That's when I watched some on repeat. It was pretty good. But here, when we get to a little bit later in the 80s is when things really get familiar. All right, Perfect Strangers. Is that show you watched?
I think I saw...
With Balky?
Yeah, with Balky.
A lot of people think it's called Balky.
I think I saw a few episodes because I thought that character was so weird. And I remember absolutely nothing about it.
I have good memories of that. I'm a little bit... That's when I'm hesitant to go back and watch because... Not because I think it looks bad, just like, well, keep my good memories. I don't feel like I need to watch it again.
Yeah, the sensibilities of the show may not have aged well.
Yep. Full House. I've watched Full House recently. I think that's one of those shows, even though I loved it as a kid, it was my favorite show for a while, I think I probably knew this isn't a great show. So I don't think I ever was disappointed by it. It's like Saved by the Bell. I can go back and watch it now because it's always just been weird and bizarre, and yeah, no problem with that. Some of these other shows. All right, so Family Matters. I've watched clips of that recently. That holds up for the most part. Urkel's can be annoying. He's supposed to be annoying, but like a lot of stuff is not that funny anymore. But that show holds up. Dinosaurs.
Oh, Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, I think, holds up because the costumes, I think it's Henson stuff.
So weird.
It's so weird, and I think, but it's the costumes are done in a way that it still look cool and just
I can see it still looking
enjoyable.
cool. I honestly don't remember any of the plot. I don't remember any of the characters' names. I just remember the baby.
Oh yeah, the baby was
because they had toys for kids that were all those characters, and my family got me the baby, and that thing went in the closet. And it wasn't like it stayed out in my room for a really long time, but when I understood that I could actually turn it around or hide it, then I did, because it was so scary. And you pulled, I don't know if you remember this, but like in toys when we were growing up, you'd pull like a ring with the string and then like let go, and it would have the voice. And it had a voice, and it would say things, and like when it got like a little tired, that's exactly what it would say, and I hated it.
Oh, we got a phone call.
Ooh, pressed a button talking about dinosaurs.
Hello, thanks for calling KPCA LP. You're on Let's Make a List. Please watch your language. How's it going today?
Hey, it's going great.
Cool.
Here's the thing. I'm listening online, and I'm way behind, so this is going to be an interruption. Way
talking about
past
Camelot?
Prime. Camelot.
Yep.
Yeah, that, I bought it to watch it because I loved it so much as a kid. It was horrible.
Okay.
So anyway, you can...
This is the Vanessa Redgrave?
Right away, it was so bad.
This is the same version that Ariel's talking about?
Yeah, the Camelot,
there's like one version of it.
Way back in the day, you know?
Was it boring, or was it...
It was boring and really bad.
Okay.
I was really surprised how bad it was. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that because I didn't want to forget to tell you that.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the updates on Petaluma.
Oh, no problem. They were important.
Okay.
All right, cool. Bye-bye. Thanks for calling.
Mm-hmm. Somehow I had an inkling that it would happen.
Step by Step.
Mm-hmm.
That's one I remember. I don't remember if it was like a cousin or something. The guy that was kind of older. When I say older, he's probably like 18. And he was the surfer guy, kind of dumb, kind of stonerish, I guess you'd say. And I remember that character being really funny, and just loving that character. I don't know.
Yeah, this, but I didn't have TV. We didn't have TV in my house. My grandparents had TV. If I was over at a friend's house, or if somebody was like babysitting me, then I would have access to TV. So I didn't really understand that they were serials.
Right.
That had a long story. So I retained absolutely none of the information.
Yep.
Like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, whatever happened just happened. And it's like, oh, okay. I figured it out.
Did you in some way watch Sabrina? Because that seems like a show. Yeah, I think that seemed like a show you probably would have liked. It's got a witch.
Yeah, I love that show. I would watch that at my grandparents'. Yeah, Salem, the talking cat, the weirdest puppet ever. Like, that just like is like it just seems like an exhausted, put upon puppet. You never see his back legs, but sometimes you see a live action cat jump out of something.
Yeah, and there's Boy Meets World was one. There was the Hughleys.
Oh, I remember that. Can you explain to me what the appeal was of Boy Meets World?
It was...
As a person who was a boy.
It was like pretty much most of these other sitcoms I watched where it was on, and then the characters were fun, and there were some funny things, and I don't know if I could really relate to any of the characters, but it was one of those where it's just easy to watch. I think it was like a lot of these shows, like Full House and a bunch of these, and Family Matters was just like, I like these characters. I'm going to just watch them do stuff.
I asked because Boy Meets World seems to have this like polarizing effect with people who grew up watching it, where people either really don't like it or people really, really do. And they're like, oh my God, I loved that show. It was like part of my childhood. And I was so bored by it.
I liked it a lot. It wasn't like one of my favorites, but I definitely liked it.
What was the kid's name? I don't remember.
I don't know. It was one of the Savages, but I don't remember.
Corey, I think was
that's
the
it.
Character's name. He just was a whiny baby, and I couldn't stand it. And like, you're supposed to be invested in him and Topanga, and I was like, Topanga, go find somebody else who doesn't whine.
Topanga, the first episode she was in, at the beginning, she was supposed to be like the really weird girl who would like draw on her face with lipstick, and it was all bizarre by the end.
She was the most put together person on the planet with really, really long hair.
Yeah.
And like, as a kid with really long hair, I was like, okay, I see the appeal. But like, he whines. Move on. That's enough. Like hearing that. No.
Two more shows that I didn't know until start now, and that were two big ones for me. Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Yeah.
It was basketball related. I love basketball. It was fun. I don't remember. He was a teacher, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And that's pretty much all I remember. But I remember how like the main sets looked. And then Sister.
I did
was
watch.
Into that one. Two twins, and then they were separated at birth, and then they end up meeting each other, and I think in school, and then I think they end up living together and then like
their families like
her one of them, her dad, and the other one's like mom or aunt. I don't remember exactly, but that one I don't remember the plot besides that, but that was a big one too.
Show that I actually watched more than those, and I'm totally blanking on the name of it, but it was like not Martin, but there was a show about all these people who were like adult friends, and I remember that the costumes that they wore were super, super bright, and I loved it.
Adult friends, was it?
And they were really funny people.
Was it a kid show?
No, it was adults. I'm not going to remember what it is. This is really thrilling radio. No, it was...
Dallas?
No.
Are you sure it wasn't Dallas? Sounds like Dallas.
Nope.
Gunsmoke? All right, well, I'll give up. Sorry, we'll look it up later. We don't have time for this right now. We're talking about important stuff. All right, I want to jump to Nickelodeon shows a little bit.
Awesome.
Doug?
Yes.
That's one I'm kind of scared to go back on.
Yeah.
To look back on. I think I'd be bored. Remember here's pop quiz trivia time. The name of the band in Doug?
Nope.
I have to make sure that I'm saying it right because I could say it wrong.
Dougie Fresh.
There's a band that was the super popular band, and it was kind of like the Beatles.
Doug sucks.
They were the Beats.
The Beats. Nice.
Yeah. Rugrats. That was for little kids, and so now again, a lot of these shows just aren't for people our age, so it makes sense that
they were also so weird though.
Yeah.
Like and we've talked about this a lot in the 90s and the late 80s, there were a lot of things that were family oriented, so they were actually meant to have different layers that would actually kind of entertain an adult who would be like nearby and go like and then walk on, like, so that you wouldn't be bored to death. There were some things that were like that. And I feel like some of the cartoons that we watched when we were kids were kind of like that.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, if you're watching this with a 2-year-old, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
There's some weird jokes shoved in here.
Yeah. And they weren't, and it's not like they were hidden dirty jokes. They were
they were just
actually kind of.
They were jokes that now we watch,
maybe?
We see like some kids' movies and we're like, God, that seems so stupid. And it's because some of the entertainment that was aimed for us when we were growing up actually had like a sharper edge to its humor. And that was so that it could actually make more than just the 4-year-old laugh.
Right.
And that doesn't seem to really be a thing anymore.
It says here that Doug was originally only 3 years.
Yeah, it didn't go for very
91
long.
to. Oh, but then it started again on ABC where they were a little older from 96 to 98. One show that was a lot of my friends were into, but I watched some, but it wasn't big for me. It was Rocko's Modern Life.
Yeah.
I think they're rebooting that one.
Yeah, I've seen people like teenagers walking around with Rocko's Modern Life stuff on their clothes, and I go like, "This is a real trip."
It was like that. Marvin the Martian was huge, and I didn't. That was never really. Is that part of Looney Tunes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Character Vader Zim. I never really got into. I think that was a little later.
Yeah, I didn't get into that.
Yeah. Here are some. Hey Dude.
Hey Dude. Whoa.
Hey Dude, where they were at the ranch, like the summer ranch, whatever, and they were working there.
They were at Dude Ranch.
Yep. And Clarissa Explains It All.
I loved
Again,
that
only
show.
3 years. Hey Dude, 2 years. Crazy. Salute Your Shorts. Secret World of Alex Mack. Keenan and Kel. Yeah. Alex
Mack was awesome.
These shows. I remember a lot of these shows. I just didn't, because when you're a kid, you don't go, this show is just for kids. I'd go, these are good shows and watch it forever. And then we're like when the Rugrats movies started to come out. And I was like, I don't really want to see him. And I was like, didn't understand why. It was weird. I was, it was like kind of sad. Where I was like, wait, did I outgrow this? That doesn't make any sense. What?
This is actually making me think of a couple shows that I do not remember their name, but I remember liking them a lot. And one was a contemporary of Alex Mack. These are just thoughts. Boom, boom.
Doom, doom.
That nobody needs to know.
Doom, doom. Well, I think we've done a lot of talking about old shows, mostly shows. But they're playing movies from then that still live up, that still hold up. They're really good.
True.
Goonies,
Never Ending Story.
Monster Squad, Never Ending Story.
We could name them for hours.
That's true. Rookie of the Year.
A lot of really cool
Little Big
things
League.
came out of our childhood.
Sandlot. Yep. So guys, people, creators of now for stuff, make good stuff. How about that? I just inspired a whole generation of entertainers. All right. Well, thank you very much for listening. Please stick around for Full Circle Sessions with DJ Saeed, which starts in just about 3 minutes. But hey, we've got to go. We've got stuff to do, guys. As you know, there's a lot of stuff going on in Petaluma.
And there's a lot of stuff that we've got to watch.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got to go buy, we have to go find the VCR, which I think works. Theodore Rex broke it a while ago, but I think it's been fixed.
What a sad thing to have.
Yeah, I know. And I think it's one of those things where it's like we couldn't take it out. So I was like, all right, that's the one movie we watch on VHS. I still don't think I finished Theodore Rex.
It's not worth. No.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Stick around for Full Circle Sessions. Thank you very much. And thanks, Ariel, for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.